What is up, fellow YouTubers? So, last night, I thought I lost my cell phone. I did find it. I had to retrace my steps back to my friends over at Phil and Bree's house, yeah. And I hung out with them for a bit, had a couple drinks, and you know, finished off what I left over there, and then had another one, and you know, was about to walk home, and Bree and Phil are like, dude, it's too cold to walk home. Just stay here till the morning. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna argue with people on that. So I'm not gonna lie, YouTube. I did panic a little bit because I'm thinking to myself, geez. But that's alright. I'm glad I found my cell phone. I made a fresh pot of coffee last night before heading over to Bree and Phil's to look for my phone, and it's probably cold right about now, but that's alright. I'm still gonna drink it. However, I want to take the middle assembly out here, and yeah. If you want to see a video on how to make coffee out of an old school percolator, hit the like button. Let me know in the comments section, and I will be happy to oblige. Now, one thing I will say, YouTube, and that's being brutally honest, is when you're done making a pot of coffee out of your percolator, it's good to take the assembly out when it's cooled off, dump all the used coffee grounds into the trash, you know, rinse it off in the sink and wash it out and set it to dry somewhere. That way, your coffee coffee maker doesn't get moldy. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck I said coffee molder. Coffee maker. Yeah, and believe me, you don't want your coffee maker getting moldy. It's just ew. So who cares if it's a little bit cold? I want to drink it anyway. No sense in wasting it. So you're gonna be like, oh, cold coffee? That's so gross. Well, if you think cold coffee is disgusting, well, let me tell you something. Let's go to Google.com. Google, of course, is a trusted search engine. Some of you might prefer Yahoo or Bing. It doesn't matter what you use, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to use Google. And in Google, let's look up the word sexism. And I'll provide the link in the description box below so you can see it for yourself. When we ask ourselves, why the fuck do we have a problem with this imbalance amongst men and women? Why you constantly hear men and women complaining about each other, blah blah blah. Why the fuck does everything have to be a movement on the goddamn internet anymore? It's annoying as shit. I mean, if you're starting a movement for a good cause to help good people out who need it, I get that. That's awesome. But we got these men who are going on their own, men going on their own movement, and they sound like these bitchy women who are like, oh, I don't need a man in my life, you know, and these men are no different. These men going off on their own movement, they're like, oh, we don't need a woman in our life, you know, because we're independent, you know. You know, this is the biggest problem. I hear a lot of women complaining about men. I hear a lot of men complaining about women, and you know, and in order for the dating, oh, there we go. The phone's got a charge on it. Excellent. I'll leave my phone on the charger for a bit. But the reason why dating sucks is because there's a imbalance amongst the sexes. Because men and women do not respect each other enough. That is so true it hurts. And there we go. I got my glasses washed. And things like this definitely don't help. Okay. So we go to Google and we type in sexism. And the dictionary definition of sexism is noun, prejudiced, stereotyping, or discrimination. Okay, that sounds about right. And then the next three words typically against women or the basis of sex, synonyms, sexual discrimination, gender prejudice, gender bias. Now, to me, that's like an oxymoron, if you ask me. Because isn't that stereotyping, okay? Sexism includes the definition of prejudiced, stereotyping, or discrimination. The definition of sexism is, in fact, a stereotype, is it not? When after the first four words, it says, typically against women. You know, this is the kind of crap I fucking hate. You know? You get these bitchy women, these bitchy feminazis, who constantly victimize their own sex. They victimize their own sex, and then they blame men for everything. And consequently, it makes the feminist movement look bad. Mm. That may be cold, but that's good coffee. You know, before I smoke one of these cancer sticks, all my friends gave me some cigarettes last night. They're like, here, I don't smoke these, have a pack. And I'm like, okay. There wasn't that many left in the pack, but greatly appreciated. Before I, hold on a second. Well, I hope you all had an awesome new year. I know I did. Okay. Put the blanket down in front of the door so the secondhand smoke doesn't leak into the hallway and crack a window. Alright, there we go. These are Camel Reds, I think is what they're called. But But yeah, this is precisely the problem with our society. This kind of crap. If it would have said prejudice, stereotyping, or discrimination happens to both men and women on the basis of sex, discrimination, and gender bias, I would have been like, that's a more accurate term. And here's the problem, YouTube. I feel like whenever a man tries to complain about sexism, there's always some bitchy female who's going to be like, well, you don't know what it's like because you're not a woman. Again, with that victimizing yourself crap. I'll be the first to say it, okay? Being a woman is not easy. Okay, I will say that. But a true feminist will fight for gender equality. A true feminist will fight for gender equality without being sexist towards men or victimizing her own sex. Yeah, all these women, poor me, poor me. Women are always oppressed. Poor me, poor me, poor me. It's all men's fault. They're all pigs. And my point to that is, why are you focused on all men? You can't speak for every man out there. Why are you focused on every man out there? Why not focus on the good men you have in your life? Maybe you got a husband who loves you. Maybe you got a father who loves you. Maybe you got a brother who loves you, or a male cousin, Maybe you got a friend that's a male that doesn't treat you with disrespect. So my point being is, why are you focused on every other male instead of the ones that are important in your life? Well, tomorrow I'll be starting a new batch of wands. I need to go to Home Depot and I need to get some sandpaper and some copper wire. And then I'll go to a crystal shop of sorts, either the Jade Elephant or the Wonder. Those are your two options that we have here in Casper, and they're both pretty good. I haven't purchased anything from the Jade Elephant, but I've been inside a couple times, and they have nice things. I usually go to the Wonder gift shop. I usually go to the Wonder gift shop over on CY to get my quartz crystals. That's where I got the quartz crystal for my scepter that I have sitting right there on the background, yeah. But and then, of course, we have this problem, this negative stereotype: all men want is sex. Now, that stereotype hurts men and it hurts women for a number of reasons. The first reason being, women feel entitled to your dick. If they get rejected up front, it's usually, what are you, gay? What are you, some kind of faggot? And it's like, whoa, honey, hold on. You act like your vagina is made out of gold and diamonds. You ain't that hot, okay? What makes you any different than the next woman next to you? Seriously. And this is precisely why, men have an easier time getting rejected up front for the most part, and women, on the other hand, don't. Which is funny because when it comes to breakups and ending your relationship, men have a harder time with breakups than women do. Women get over it a lot quicker. Men tend to brood and stool in it, Weird how that works out, YouTube. Well, I've been uploading this video of me playing guitar and singing, and it's 2 hours long, and I've been uploading it for the last several days. So it may take a while, but that's alright. It'll upload when it uploads. Sure, when a breakup happens, first couple of days you might see the woman sitting on the couch eating some Ben and Jerry's, watching Oprah, bitching because all men are the same. And then you might see a man. At first, men seem like they get over it quicker, but behind closed doors, yeah. I'm sure, women love to bitch and say, oh, that's not nice when men just objectify us for sex. What? Guess what? Women do that shit too. Unfortunately. And that's the problem with it, YouTube, is men and women are just like each other. The only difference is sometimes women are more emotional. Sometimes men are more physical. That's the only difference. And if you hear people complaining about the dating scene, you got all these people bitching and complaining. All these people saying, "Oh, I don't need no, I don't need anybody in my life." Ugh. Yeah, you're lying to yourself. You are lying to yourself. You are lying to yourself. You are lying, liar, liar, pants on fire, lying to yourself. I mean, when you're at that certain age, everybody needs somebody to cuddle with. I don't give a shit who you are. Is it the most important thing in the world? No, it's not. It's not. I feel like society puts way too much pressure on people to date and have sex and have companionship, and that's why we have this imbalance. Men and women don't respect each other enough, and men and women, it's always poor me, poor me. It's always their fault. It's never, And that's the thing of it. Take responsibility for your fucking actions. Stop blaming the devil for everything. Stop blaming men for everything. Stop blaming women for everything. Take responsibility for your shitty actions. You know, learn how to fucking pick better people to date. It's just that simple. Well, Josh, you just don't understand. Some guys are so nice. They give you a rose and pretty compliments and they say nice things and blah, blah. Okay, don't be so, you know, open-minded. Don't be so quick to just dismiss because anybody can do that. Anybody can hand you a rose and promises and nice words. Doesn't mean they mean it. You can tell a lot about a couple just by the photos they take. You're trying to force the smile, telling yourself, oh, this long distance relationship, I can make it work. I can make it work. Even though that little voice in the back of your head says, he's an asshole just like every other guy you dated. Even though that little voice in the back of your head says, he may have a couple things in common with me, but he's an asshole just like every other guy I've dated. And trust and believe if he broke up with you once, he's going to do it again because you're letting him. As soon as you let people walk all over you, they're going to do it. People say, well, I don't like being treated like shit on the dating scene. That's why I quit dating. Okay, instead of quitting dating because you're tired of the way people treat you, how about you learn to stand up for yourself and say, you know what? I'm not a cigarette butt. I'm not a goddamn doormat. So why am I going to let people walk all over me? There's a fine line between independent woman and just straight up bitch. Okay, fine line. I mean, there are some women you can't even say hi to them without them accusing you of trying to rape them, and it's like, whoa, you're just as bad as the men who are rape apologists. Like, seriously, you get these women who are like, everything is sexist towards women, and every guy's just trying to rape me. Blah 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 blah. These women are the worst. They're insufferable. They're bitchy. They're annoying. They make women everywhere look bad. And these are the kind of women that get pissed off when you try to hold the door for them. Like, I'm sorry, that's just the way I was raised, you know? Oh, shit. Good thing it wasn't lit. Haha, cool. God damn it. No, but you get these women, I see it land in my chair, and I'm like, nope. But no, you get these women who get pissed off when you hold the door for them, and, oh, you're just holding the door for me so you could stare at my ass. And I'm like, no. I was raised to be respectful towards women and respectful towards my elders. So if my old fashioned values offend you, well, then I don't care. And that really stops and makes you think, YouTube. Women who are this insufferable, like, what kind of men have they encountered to make them so bitchy and insufferable and just the absolute fucking worst, you know? Now, having a significant other half, it's not everything in life, but, and I don't care how bitchy or annoying the female is, I don't care how insufferable the person is, you know. You can start all these fucking movements, you can write 20 blogs on the internet about how you don't need nobody significant in your life. Yeah, because you're an independent person. You don't need a boyfriend or you don't need a girlfriend. No, you really don't need a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but having a significant other half that loves and respects you is a good feeling, you know? And you can't deny that. A lot of women and men are like, I don't get it. Why is it that when I have somebody, the opposite sex notices me more? Ho ho ho. Good question. Professor Saunders is here to answer your dying and most bizarre and most burning question. Dying because you're dying to know. Why is it? And I noticed this too. Whenever I get a girlfriend, females respond to me more positively. They notice me, you know. And that's because when you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend that loves you and respects you, it gives you a boost of confidence. You know, when you're getting some and you're with somebody that you love and care about and you're actually physically and mentally attracted to, you know, it puts a bounce in your step and people pick up on that. And when they pick up on that, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, this person's really confident. People say looks aren't everything. I call bullshit. And we live in a society where women are allowed to have the most unrealistic expectations and the highest standards, but the very fucking second, a dude says, I don't date fat chicks. Oh, that's body shaming. How dare you? Every woman is created beautifully, you pig. Right. So you're telling me that as a woman, some sweaty, greasy, fat motherfucker lives in his mom's basement, no fucking hair, covered in Cheeto stains, comes up to you with his beer belly hanging out of his shirt and says, ugh, sitting there licking the Cheeto stains off his fingers like, ugh, sits there, picks the belly button lint out of his disgusting belly like, oh yeah, hey baby, if you were a Twinkie, oh, I'd eat you. Women everywhere. Why? Didn't you just get done saying that looks weren't everything? What's wrong? Why won't you give that guy a chance? He lives at home with his mom. Maybe he's living with her to take care of her. You know, maybe because she's old, you know, and what? And just because you're fat, don't think that you can't find somebody. That's a bullshit excuse. You think, oh, my tits aren't big enough, or I'm too fat, blah blah blah. Fuck that. That's just an excuse, man. That's just an excuse. You know, this is why I say men and women are just like each other. We're faced with the same bullshit standards in different form. Men are like self-conscious about their penis size. Women are self-conscious about their breast size. And it's stupid. But here's the thing of it. Men are pretty much stuck with the size they got. You don't like the size of your dick? Well, too bad, so sad. You know? That's one thing that women have that men don't. You don't like the size of your shit? You can change it if you want to. You don't have to, you know? Don't lose weight because society tells you you're too fat. Fuck that shit, YouTube. Lose weight for you, you know? Really, you have three options. You can sit on your ass, stuff your face with Ben & Jerry's delicious ice cream, and cry because all men are pigs, and or you could get off your ass, lose some weight, or you could find somebody who's into fat chicks and just get over it. You know what I'm saying? Those are your three options. It's just that simple. You don't like the way you look, change it. You know what? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. I don't make these videos to piss people off. I make them to help men and women understand each other just a little bit better. But why is it, and this is exactly why a lot of these men are doing this whole men going on their own movement, this whole men going on their own movement, because of the hypocrisy of the sexes. And I say hypocrisy of the sexes because that's the truth. You might hear a man say, well, I think a woman looks good in a tight dress. Mm-hmm. You hear some woman, oh, you're such a pig. But then you hear women say they like guys in tight jeans. How is that any fucking different, dude? And that shit kind of pisses me off. And it's like, how insufferable and hypocritical is that? The reason why, YouTube, there's an imbalance amongst the sexes is because, unfortunately, we live in a male-dominated society, and the only reason that is the way it is because society tells men, toughen up, quit being a pussy, quit being a faggot, quit being a crybaby sissy boy. Oh, did you get a little cut on your knee? Oh, boo-hoo. Rub some dirt in it and get over it. Society automatically expects men to be the tougher sex. Whenever men show emotion, we get chastised for it. But whenever women show emotion, they're coddled, they're told, oh, it's okay. It's not your fault, it's men's fault. Society expects men to be the tougher sex, and then society expects women to be tougher than men. And that's bullshit, YouTube. I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. I feel like if there was an equal distribute of power amongst the sexes, and I also feel like that if men and women respected each other more, we wouldn't have these fucking issues. But lo and behold, we come full circle back to the topic of the video, the fact that when you Google sexism, it includes mostly against women. See, that right there is the sexist stereotype statement. Oh, you're male? You must be a sexist. That's in itself is a sexist statement. Okay? That in itself is a sexist statement. You know, sexism, the word sexism, let's break that down. You take off the ism, you have the word sex, referring to sex as in the gender. The reason why it's called sexism is because, holy shit, it happens to both sexes? No way. But of course, a lot of women like to use history as an example to chastise men. Well, women couldn't vote for the longest time, so you have no idea what it's like to be a woman. Okay, stop with the you have no idea what it's like to be a woman bullshit, because, honey, did I ask for your sob story? I didn't? Well, fucking A. Everyone's got a sob story. Everyone's got a story to tell. If I wanted your fucking sob story, I would have handed you a box of Kleenexes and said, let it out. I don't care what she did. Fellas, I don't give a shit what she did. She hits you one time, put your hands in your pocket, and walk the fuck away. I don't care what she did. Do not care. Do not give in to her bullshit. Women love to project women love to project their emotions onto men because they're fucking good at it. You know? And this is a problem with our society. If you're in a crowd of people and you see some dude kicking the shit out of a female, everyone gets pissed off. Oh, whoa, hey, whoa, what are you doing? You can't do that. They come to her aid. They stand up for her. You know, they defend her. But take that same crowd of people and some female beating the shit out of a dude. People point and they laugh. Look at this pussy faggot getting his ass kicked by a female. Hey, let's film it and put it on YouTube for everyone to laugh at. To suggest that women are weak and they can't fend for themselves, you know, it's not cool, man. You know? And that's exactly what you're doing when you laugh at a dude for getting his ass kicked by a female. That's completely sexist towards men and women at the same time. It's demasculating the male, and it's being a sexist towards females. You know? And I tend to think that this issue should be the same for both people. Either women get laughed at for getting their ass kicked as well, or both sexes get defended. That's just how I see it. You know, this imbalance shouldn't exist. The only time it is okay to hit a woman if she's physically beating the shit out of you or if she's got a knife to your throat. At that point, it's just self-defense, bud. I don't care, you know. She hits you one time, put your fucking hands in your pocket and walk the fuck away. It's called being the bigger man, as the expression goes, right? As soon as you give in to her bullshit, you get played off as a typical male. Oh, you're such a typical male. Oh my god. But these days, you can't even give a woman CPR, hold the door for her without her accusing you of trying to rape you. And it's like, well, ain't that a bitch? So what happens then if you're drowning and the only person that knows CPR is the male lifeguard? And you think, oh, there's no way women would accuse men. Does that mean it doesn't happen? No. Unfortunately, rape does happen, and I wish it didn't. But when it comes to rape culture, women are treated far better than men are. Because of that same old argument that all men want is sex. All men want is sex. So the idea of a man getting raped is laughable to most people. That's the thing of it, YouTube. If a man goes to the cops and says a woman raped him, the cops can be like, oh, okay, sir, can you give me a description of the assailant? No, dude, she was like 400 pounds overweight. Or no, dude, she was like She-Hulk, man. My wife's gonna fucking kill me. Oh, okay, then they start taking it seriously. Now, if a woman goes to the cops and says she was raped, whether she's lying or not, it's taken care of. It's done. It's over with. You know, the person or persons that did it, they're going down. all men want is sex. I'm so tired of hearing that. All men are just pigs. I'm tired of hearing that too. And I get it. You know, when your daughter's a certain age, you don't want her to date because she's too young. I get that. But instead of lying to your daughter and feeding into that feminazi propaganda bullshit and saying all men are just pigs, you can't trust them. Okay, why is it that mothers have been telling their daughters for generations now that all men are just pigs? Really? So the father that helps raise your daughter is a pig? The father that loves your mother, your husband's a pig? Really? And that's the problem with it, YouTube, is men and women will do things that make their sex look bad. Dude gets a chick pregnant and then doesn't stick around for the kid. That's not right. But here's the thing of it, YouTube. Here's the thing of it. It takes two people to fight. It takes two people to make a kid. Two people to fight, two people to make a kid. So while it isn't right that men basically fuck chicks, get them pregnant, and don't stick around, okay, maybe women can learn how to close their fucking legs. Oh, jeez, did I say that out loud? Oh. Now, that's the thing of it, YouTube. That's the thing of it. 1 second. Chuck this in the trash can. Oh, but then you hear the same woman. Oh, you don't know what it's like, Josh. He seems so nice. He gave me roses and compliments and pretty promises and blah blah. Okay, don't be so quick to be naive. Keep your wits about you. Now, I'm all for women empowering themselves. I think women empowering themselves is fucking awesome. I really do, YouTube. But like I said, there is a fine difference between empowering yourself and being a fucking bitch. A true feminist will acknowledge that there is sexist double standards. She'll fight for gender equality without victimizing her own sex as a woman and without being sexist towards men. Okay, a feminist who is a sexist towards men and constantly says, "Oh, women are always oppressed. Boo-hoo, poor me." That's not a feminist. That's a feminazi. Learn the difference. Feminazis give feminists and the feminist movement a bad name. And consequently, this is exactly why you have this men going on their own movement. You know, because now some women from the older generation made the choice to be stay-at-home moms. Nothing wrong with that, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. But then as their kids grow up and see that, they're like, no. Some women, as they grow up watching that, say, no, I want a career. Fuck this stay-at-home bullshit. You know? And that's fine. So then you get, you know, generation after generation of, you know, so then that generation breeds the next generation of independence, and then so on and so forth. And yes, you know, if men have been disgusting throughout history, you know, if I had a fucking time machine to eliminate racism and sexism from our society, trust and believe I would have done it a long time ago. If I had a time machine, I'd go back in time and be like, I'd be telling our founding fathers, hey, come here for a second. Fucking roll a fat joint with some of George Washington's dank ass chronic and be like, hey, Mr. President, General G. Washington, what's cracking, man? Come here for a second. Yeah. You be nicer to the ladies be nicer to you. We should like give them the right to vote and stuff. They'd be like, "What? That's crazy." I'm like, "No, dude, just stop, please. Give them more rights, man. Come on. You don't even know, like 200-300 years from now, women are going to be bitching about the oppression that women are facing right now, and I don't want to hear it. So, and I don't want them to deal with it. So, come on, man, work with me here. You make them happy, they'll make you happy. You feel me? Come on, man. Hit this shit. Fuck yeah. There we go. Oh, George Washington didn't grow cannabis on his plantation. You're full of shit. No, I'm not. Our founding fathers grew cotton, tobacco, and hemp, and cannabis, and corn. Those are like the first 5 founding crops. Don't believe me? Google it. George Washington smoked cannabis for his toothaches. And now he's probably rolling in his goddamn grave going, wait a second. You mean to tell me that shit I smoked for my toothaches is illegal? The fuck? You know, and that's the thing of it. The first United States flag was sewn from a hemp sail from a colonial ship. Think about it. You see pictures of the first United States flag. The stars are arranged in a circle. Tell me that's not a coincidence. Benjamin Franklin came back from Europe with cannabis and hemp seeds, and he's like, dudes, we gotta grow this shit. You don't even know. I mean, our founding fathers used hemp for damn near everything, including paper, which means the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence were drafted on hemp paper. So the idea that cannabis is illegal is the most unconstitutional thing I can think of. And speaking of unconstitutional, the bumfire stock ban. Now, here's the thing of it. A true machine gun, you hold it with one hand, squeeze the trigger, you know. You put a bumfire stock on your AR-15, you squeeze the trigger, it fires off once. But you hold it with both hands, and you jerk it back like that to make it do that. A real machine gun, it's one pull of the trigger and it sprays bullets. You know, so now here's the thing of it. That's not the entire gun. So I don't see the bumfire stock ban as a violation of Second Amendment rights. I don't. I mean, you can disagree with me all you want. However, hear me out, and I don't think they should ban bumfire stocks. I think there should be stricter sales on them. You know, because now all you're going to do is create an underground black market for them. Much like marijuana or alcohol prohibition, by making anything illegal, it doesn't stop people from getting it. People think, oh, well, if we make it illegal, that'll bullshit. Instead of being afraid of guns, or instead of blaming guns for everything, maybe some stricter gun control, huh? You know, maybe a longer processes for guns like AKs and ARs, you know? We had the machine gun ban in the 80s and 90s, which is good. But maybe instead of being 18 years of age or older to buy an AR-15 because it's a rifle cartridge, fuck that. Make it 21 years of age or older, and make like a 3 to 4 week waiting period, and I guarantee you, will it stop the issues? Probably not, but you can't just make it easy for people to get guns like that, and you can't take guns away, so you gotta have a common ground in the middle. You know what I'm saying, YouTube? Because you try to make AR-15s illegal, even though most of them are not fully automatic, you're gonna hear the gunnies go, well, that's bullshit, that's the Second Amendment, blah, 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 blah. And then you'll hear, yeah, but look at all the assholes who use the AR-15 to pull a mass shooting. Okay, that's the thing of it. If they would have used any other gun to pull a mass shooting, you know, that gun would be treated just the same. AR-15s are like pit bulls. They get a bad name because of their shitty owners. There are plenty of people who own AR-15s and who are very responsible gun owners. And the first rule to gun safety is keep it empty unless you have to use it. First rule, guaranteed. Second rule, treat a gun as if it's loaded. Treat the gun as if it is loaded. First rule, keep it empty unless you have to use it. Second rule, treat it like it's loaded. Third rule, don't point it in a direction that you don't intend to shoot. And fourth rule, the fourth rule is if you have kids, keep it in a safe, keep a lock on the trigger, and I get it. You want to teach your kids to shoot guns. That's a great way to bond with your kids. I get that 100%. But don't give your kid a gun to shoot they can't fucking handle. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I seen this story. All these parents, they take their daughter to a shooting range in Las Vegas to teach her how to shoot. That seems pretty standard. They give her a fucking Uzi to shoot. And what happens? She shoots the instructor because the recoil's too much. Really? Really? Okay, if you're going to teach your kids how to shoot guns, you start them off with a 22. It's just that simple. And you teach your kids that guns are not toys, they are tools. They are dangerous. So if guns are evil for killing people, then I guess fast food's evil for giving people diabetes and making people fat. I like my shotgun. It's fun to shoot. I like going out and shooting it responsibly. And people are all giving me shit on my YouTube video. Oh, nice shooting, Tex, you missed. I don't care. I still had fun. You go out to a couple acres of land, prop up some empty pop bottles or an expired bottle of Ranch, and shoot it. Right when my fucking cell phone decided to die, I took a shot at this expired bottle of ranch dressings, and then it went and exploded. It was cool. Yeah. I don't get to go shooting very often, but I thoroughly enjoy it when I do get to. One thing I wouldn't mind trying is clay shooting. That looks like fun. Pull. That's the thing of it. Casper does have a clay range. I'm not exactly sure how much money it costs to go, but I know when I build my dream house, I'm going to have a shooting range behind my dream house with some steel targets and some clay set up. And I'll have a couple of guns to shoot, have some fun, bullshit. If I've got like 20 acres of land 4 miles outside of town, why not? Then I'll be able to go shooting whenever I want. I'll trust and believe YouTube. When I build my dream house, the videos on my channel are going to get sick. You'll have videos of my clock tower, videos of me ringing my bells, videos of me shooting my guns, all that kind of thing. Be doing a Taco Bell food review in my bell tower. Just sitting there in my belfry like, what up, YouTube? So from Taco Bell, we got oh, you're never gonna win the lottery. That's a 1 in a million. Yeah, crazier things have happened. Did you know that Benjamin Franklin was high as a kite on opium when he's like, I want to tie this key to this kite? I'm not advocating for drug use, I'm just saying our founding fathers experimented with drugs and alcohol. They really had no choice because they didn't have clean drinking water like we have today. You know, they didn't have the water purification system that we have today. So they relied heavily on, barrels of homemade alcohol that was imported from Europe and all over the place to, yeah, to satisfy their thirst. Up until they discovered how to produce clean drinking water, that was pretty much, their only source. You know, I mean, you look at the history of the Wild Wild West, and yeah, you look at the history of the Wild West, and yeah. Now, see, if I was president of the United States, I would legalize a couple of drugs. I would legalize prostitution, and I'd regulate it. Everything up to like cocaine would be legal. Anything harder than cocaine, I'd keep it illegal. Like fuck meth, fuck crocodile, fuck speed, fuck heroin. You know what I'm saying? If it's a plant, it's natural, it's organic, and get you high. Legalize it and regulate it. I think prostitution should be legal. That would put the hands in the people who work. You know, the biggest problem about sex trafficking is that it's illegal. Because it's illegal, there's no regulation. Therefore, who get forced into it. I'd make the age requirement, if you want to be a prostitute, 21 years of age or older. You'd have to get sexually tested, like tested for STDs and all that sort of shit every other week. And I would require that the people you sleep with should use protection, you know. If you regulate it, control it, and put some basic requirements into it, you can make a good amount of money doing it. I'm just saying. Because some men have a harder time getting with a woman, and it is what it is, vice versa. So if you think about it, that makes sense. I mean, if you don't want to deal with people's bullshit, you just want someone to cuddle with for the night. Eh, legalize prostitution, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard for people to be forced into prostitution if it's legal and regulated and there's regulations put into place and that sort of thing. Most people will be like, "You should run for president. You should run for office." I am old enough to run for Senate, I believe. I don't know. The reason why nobody would vote for me is because look at the way I dress. Why should we vote for you? You're goth. No, if I was president, I would have universal health care like Canada has. I'd make prescription drugs less expensive. I'd make groceries less expensive because there's no reason senior citizens shouldn't have to choose between health care and prescription drugs and groceries. It's just, no. And that's the thing of it, YouTube. People want to say, well, this country has an obesity problem. Yeah, but we give them the tools to have an obesity problem when fast food is cheaper than going to Walmart and buying groceries for a week. It's ridiculous, YouTube. I can go to Walmart and buy like 7 things, like 7 bags worth of groceries, enough to get me through for a good week and a half, 2 weeks. End up almost paying $100 or more, and that's ridiculous. Of course, I like bacon. I buy enough for like maybe 1 to 2 weeks, and I don't eat that much. Bacon cheeseburgers and homemade pizza, simple, easy to make, and it tastes good. You know what I'm saying, YouTube? Yeah, but that's ridiculous. There's no fucking reason why healthcare and prescription drugs and groceries should cost an arm and a fucking leg. But the fact that the dictionary definition of sexism includes typically against women. Really? Really? Typically against women. Ugh. That's really an oxymoron if I've ever seen one, like straight up. Because if within the first 4 words, the dictionary definition of sexism within the first 4 words, prejudiced, stereotyping, or discrimination. That second word, stereotyping. And then you see typically against women. Like, what? You don't believe me. Google the word sexism. Oh, but I'm too lazy to do that. So, okay, you're too lazy to do that. That's fine. That's your choice. I don't care. I'll put the link in the description box below so you can see it for yourself. This is exactly why this is exactly why there's an imbalance. Yeah. Which makes me wonder. People also search for blah, 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 blah. Which makes me wonder. Let's see. Which makes me wonder. Hmm. Which is weird because you look up the word racism and it says racism is the belief in the superiority of one race over another, which often results in discrimination and prejudice towards people based on their race or ethnicity. The use of the term racism does not easily fall under a single definition, according to Wikipedia. So, see, that's more acceptable. What I'm saying? It doesn't just. Now, imagine for a second if it said typically towards minorities. And I'm glad it doesn't say that. I'm glad the term racism, when you Google it, it doesn't say typically towards da 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 da. No, it's you know, it's more broad. It's a what I'm saying. So it's yeah. But yet, when I Google the word sexism, it stereotypes that typically towards women. Can we just stop victimizing each other? Seriously, like, how hard is that, YouTube? Can we just stop victimizing women for a change? Wouldn't that be nice? Like, I'm tired of it. Fucking tired of it. Kick off my shoes. Get me a couple cups of coffee and get me wired on a topic, and boom. Talk your ear off for a fucking hour. Now, over the last couple of pipe slippers. Now, over the last couple of days, I've watched videos and I've gotten the perspective from men and women on YouTube, and then the first time I heard of the men going on their own movement, I'm like, what the fuck is this stupid shit? Why does everything on social media have to be a goddamn movement? Why can't people just post without having to be the next big thing? Hashtag this, hashtag that, hashtag shut the fuck up with that stupid shit. And then I find out, oh, well, it's basically the male equivalent of, I don't need nobody in my life. I'm an independent person. Okay. If you're struggling with the dating scene, take a couple months off to figure out who you are as a person and reevaluate your strategy. That's no different, okay? If you're having a hard time finding a job or finding a girlfriend or finding a boyfriend, maybe the area you live in is smaller and people have their views, what have you. You know, rethink your strategy, you know? Rethink your strategy and how you do things. Drink a whole pot of coffee in one sitting, I've done it. Oh, yeah. Coffee, it's like crack for adults. Our house is Maxwell House. Our house is a Maxwell House. Now, coffee, now what I mean, but there's this thing of it. Coffee's a drug, and it's a plant that derives from the cocoa bean, which is harvested. My point exactly. But that's the thing of it, YouTube. Be responsible. If you know you're sensitive to caffeine, and then you drink a shit ton of Monster or a shit ton of coffee, and then you spaz out, that's not the coffee company's fault. That's not Monster's fault. That's your own goddamn fault. Like, okay, this bitch who sues McDonald's because the coffee's too hot and she sits it in her lap. Yeah, okay, you know what? McDonald's did make their coffee too hot. That's their fault. But have enough common sense to go, okay, you know what? The coffee's hot. Maybe I should get a cup holder, and maybe I should put the coffee in the cup holder. Yeah, you know. It takes two to tango. That's the truth of it, YouTube. It takes two people to tango. So yeah, McDonald's might have made their coffee too hot, but you should have had enough common sense to go, oh, it's coffee. It's going to be hot. Maybe you should, put it somewhere where it's not going to, maybe McDonald's should have been like, oh, well, the lids come off too easily. they need to snap on better and stay in place. And maybe our coffee shouldn't be too hot. You know, common sense is awesome because it's free. Having common sense doesn't cost you 2 cents. And hearing people's 2 cents doesn't cost you anything either. Doesn't necessarily mean anybody wants to hear it. I'm just saying. That's the best part about having common sense. It don't cost you a dime. It don't cost you jack shit to have common sense. Common sense is one of the few things that's still free anymore, besides bitching and complaining and breathing until they figure out a way to tax that. Well, anyways, tubes. Thank you for listening to me bitch and rant. And, yeah. I'll catch you cool cobras on the flip side.